Hello there, my name is Eli, and today we're going to be talking about the physics of guns. There are so many juicy physics involved with guns that if I wanted to discuss all of them, this would probably be like a 2-hour long video. So we're not going to do that. Since there are way too many physics involved with guns, we're just going to cover the basics, such as how they shoot, what happens after they're shot, and what happens to the thing that gets shot by the gun. Now, if this was an anatomy class, I would show what happens to my partner after the bullet is shot. But since this is not an anatomy class, this is a physical science class, we're not going to be doing that today. Let me know if you want me to do that. Maybe I'll do it in a future video. We'll see. All jokes aside, this video was filmed with a trained professional, and all the proper safety crap was done, and you know what I'm saying. It'll be fine, okay? We'll be safe. Okay, enough talk. Let's get into it. Now, inside a gun, there are a couple key components that make the gun work. You got the obvious stuff, like the magazine, which holds the bullets, presses them into your gun when you need to fire. You got the bullet itself, which is what shoots out of the gun. You got the chamber of the gun, which holds the bullet until you pull the trigger, and then it fires. You got the barrel itself, which the bullet passes through. This is the main frame for the gun. It's where everything moves and everything goes. We've got this cheap Chinese junk flashlight on here. Just, I don't know, trigger and stuff. The mag release. If you get to know guns better, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But for now, you don't really need to know what this stuff is. I'm just talking about how they shoot and what they do. But you may have never seen what's actually inside the gun. Now, inside the gun, there's this little hammer thingy called the firing pin. This pin is pulled back inside the gun and is held in place as potential energy. When you pull the trigger, the firing pin is released and the potential energy of the firing pin is quickly converted into kinetic energy. When the pin strikes the back of the bullet, it strikes a part of the bullet called the primer. Primers are typically made of a mix of lead styphnate, barium nitrate, and antimony sulfate compounds. These substances together can create an explosion. How do they explode, though? Well, when the primer is struck, it creates a tiny little spark which ignites the primer compound in the bullet, which produces a flame. The kinetic energy has now been turned into thermal energy. When the little flame reaches the gunpowder inside the bullet, it ignites the gunpowder, which produces a rapidly expanding gas. Once the gas in the cartridge has expanded enough, there is a lot more pressure inside the bullet than outside of it. At the tip of the bullet, there's a weak point that is purposefully put there so that when the gas is expanding, it will expand in the direction of the weak point, ripping the end of the bullet off, causing it to fly down the barrel along with the gas. As the bullet is flying down the barrel, it travels along these little grooves in the barrel called rifling. This is a groove in which the bullet travels along, which causes the bullet to start spinning. This is done so that when the bullet is traveling through the air and is experiencing friction, the spin will cause the bullet to stay straight and be more aerodynamic. Pretty complicated, isn't it? But now that you know how a gun shoots, let's look at what they do after being shot. I'm gonna have to speed through this because we're running out of time. Once the bullet exits the end of the barrel, it will continue to travel forward until it is stopped by something in its path. The distance the bullet travels is proportional to the amount of gunpowder in the bullet, the weight of the bullet, the shape of the bullet, the length of the barrel, and a bunch of other super complicated things that I'm way too lazy to research. One thing I would like to mention is that the bullet's speed is directly proportional to the distance it will travel. The more speed it has, the further it will go. The way a bullet picks up more speed is with more force. The way it gets more force is by having a bigger explosion, i.e. more gunpowder. As you can see, there's a big difference in the size of these bullets. The bigger bullet has way more gunpowder, hence it has a way bigger explosion, which will cause it to have more speed and more force than the smaller bullet. The size of a bullet will affect how far it can go, since the larger the bullet is, the more surface area it will have for gravity to push down on it. The shape of the bullet also affects the speed of a bullet. This is because the more aerodynamic a bullet is, the better it will be at reducing friction. Less friction on the bullet while traveling means a larger distance the bullet will be able to travel. This is generally why people use shotguns for home defense, is because there's a giant projectile, and sometimes multiple projectiles, that are coming out of the barrel with a lot of force. But since the bullets are round and not very aerodynamic, the bullet won't travel very far. This is definitely a good thing in the case of home defense, since you don't know what or who could be on the other side of a wall just minding their own business. The final question I'm going to be answering is, what happens to the thing you're shooting? This part is going to be fun.
Is this science?
As you can see, when I shoot the water bottle with this 22 long rifle, makes a tiny little hole in the water bottle. And now I really gotta hurry. So, do you see that little hole in the water bottle? Okay, so the reason there's a hole in the water bottle is because when bullets hit things, they do damage and they transfer their energy to the thing they're hitting. So, when the 22 hit the water bottle, its energy was transferred to the water bottle, and there was so much energy in the bullet that it ripped a hole in the water bottle. Now, let's see what happens when I shoot the water bottle with a 9mm. Oh, and check that out. Hit dead center. First try. As you can see, the hole isn't like noticeably a lot bigger, but there's a lot less like it's a lot clearer of a hole, which means it had a lot more force coming through, clearing that hole. It also was a little smaller coming out, which means the bullet warped less when it was actually going through. It like held its composure better. So yeah, 9mm did a little better than 22. Okay, now we got some Elite Performance ammunition. These are mostly for home defense. The idea of these is that they're hollow at the end, so that when you shoot it, whatever it hits, it's actually gonna expand more, so that it rips a bigger hole in whatever it's hitting. Right here, which is like, let me see, right?
Look at the exit wound though, right there. That's the exit.
Dang. I mean, look at that. You can see like this is an exit, kind of came out a little. This kind of just ripped, but it really just exploded basically. So it worked. It did the idea of what it's supposed to do. Made a bigger hole, I guess. Finally, we're gonna be shooting some 223, which is a rifle bullet out of this thing. Science. Okay, so we shot it with the 223. Barely hit it, but hit it, and it's actually a smaller hole, which kind of makes sense because it's gonna deform less going through. That's kind of the purpose of it having so much speed. But yeah, I guess I was a little surprised that 223 didn't make a bigger hole. Well, in conclusion, bullets make holes in things. I guess thanks for watching. If you want to see another video, let me know. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been nice out. There's some nice weather. Thank you, Jesus. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Stay dangerous. Peace.